What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is another late night review of Fargo season finale. And I gotta be honest, I'm really surprised. I really am. Fargo has been like my most popular of all the TV shows that I review. I guess it's people enjoy it for good reason. So I was like gearing up. I'm ready tonight. I'm like, yes, it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be, but they didn't go epic, and at first I was like, what are they doing? Like, is there going to be some like twist at the end that we're not going to see coming? And also, but they don't. And it's actually amazing. And here's why. Because honestly, that's what I was expecting, this big, epic ending to just, the whole series. This epic showdown between Ed and Peggy and Hansi and Lou. They're just gonna all clash, but they didn't do it. And I liked it because they did the unexpected, did it well, and still gave us a satisfying ending, I think, that leaves so much open. Like, I just. Okay, I'm gonna talk about it, because I gotta get my feelings out about it, because there are things that I wasn't sure how I felt at first, and then I was like, I think I know how I feel now. Anyway, I love how it started. Oh my gosh. The opening was brilliant. It was a masterpiece. They start off with Lou. I think it was Lou. And he's saying what we see every episode, that this is a true story. The following events took place in Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. I forget it. I don't know why. I see it every show. I think it's like, at the request of the survivors, the names have been changed. Out of respect for the dead, the rest has been told exactly as it occurred, or something along those lines. We know the line. Every time I see it, it's just like, that's Fargo. I know what that means. But they open with him saying the lines, which I thought was a good. It was nice to hear. It was kind of like it's almost like he's being told from his perspective, which I like. And then they open up showing like, as he's saying these lines, they're showing all of the people that have died. They're showing Rye Gerhardt. Well, I guess they're showing all the Gerhardts, because they're showing all the Gerhardts that are dead. So pretty much everybody. They show Father Gerhardt, whatever his name was. They started off showing Rye. They showed the daughter, Dodd's daughter. They show Dodd. They show Floyd. They show Bear. They're all dead. And then they show Betsy. It's just like, wait, what? What is she? And she opens her eyes. It's just like, okay. It was kind of a shocking moment. I was like, wait, they're saying she's dead? But no, she, after her thing, she's okay. She's in bed. Noreen is looking after her. And so, it's nice to see she's okay. It's just the pills, bad reaction, which means the cancer pills are actually not helping her cancer. That sucks. But we I guess based on the first season, that she's not gonna make it. So I guess it's nice to see that it's the cancer that, well, maybe. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But then they show Ed and Peggy running. They hail a guy in a car. They open it up. They're like, "What do you need?" And shot in the neck. Hansi's coming after him. It's just like, holy crap. Gets another shot off, which gets Ed. So now he's bleeding, and Peggy's like helping him. And so they're running. They keep, they finally get to the store. They open it up. The guy inside's like, "What is going on?" And then she's like, "You get out of here. Terrible man's coming." Closes the door. They run into the back. They get into this freezer or a cooler of some sort, and like lock the door so he can't get in. Lou, meanwhile, is chasing the gunfire, and he's following the trail of blood just like Hansi is. He sees Hansi, gets a shot off, but Hansi dodges it and escapes. And then the Weasley cop like joins him, and then they have this scene in the freezer / cooler, whatever it was, between Ed and Peggy, which Ed's just like, this is not gonna work. Like, even if we make it out of this, you and me aren't gonna work. And it's just, it was such a strange moment for it, but they've had all these strange moments with them in the wrong time, like they keep having the wrong conversations at the wrong moments. And this was another example. He's just talking about how he and her are not gonna work, even if they do make it out of this okay. And then they hear the door rattling, and like she's like, the Indian's here. He's gonna smoke us out. And like smoke's coming into the air vents, and then Ed just and he's dead. And it's just like, oh, like Ed's gone, man. Like I don't know. It's just kind of between the two of them. I'm like, Peggy's crazy. Ed's kind of sane. He's making bad decisions based off of Peggy's insane decisions. I kind of feel bad for Ed. And so the fact that he's the one that dies based off of everything that she caused, I'm just like, man, that sucks. But then like the door keeps rattling, and smoke keeps pouring in. She's like, okay, grabs it. You can just see it on her face, like she's ready. She's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna kill him. Opens it up and charges outside. It's Lou and the Weasley cop, and he's like holding him down. There's no fire outside. There's no smoke outside. There's no smoke inside. She hallucinated it all based on that one movie that she saw about the Nazi coming to get them, and the fire started outside. And it's all based on that movie because the man and the woman make it out okay. And it's just like, that's genius. Like, the writers planned that perfectly. She's crazy on purpose, and I love it. So that scene was just incredible. Like when she's seeing the fire, she's seeing this all in her mind, and it's just like, wow, like this woman's going crazy. And so, you do get to see her reaction to seeing Ed dead. Brilliant performance. Kirsten Dunst can act. Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1, not holding it against her anymore. I'm a believer that Kirsten Dunst can act. So, just gonna get that out of the way. Because, yeah, I kind of did think bad about her before this season started. Anyway. It skipped my mind. There was another amazing scene before this where, Betsy has just woken up, she was talking to Noreen, and then she starts narrating. She's like, that night I had an incredible dream, and she's like, I know it must have been just a dream, but it still felt real. And it was showing, like first she saw Molly growing up with Lou, in school, graduating, and then we saw all the characters from the first season. The first season Molly, we saw Colin Hanks and whoever played Lou in the first season. I can't remember his name now. We saw them with like 2 kids, and like all of a sudden it starts flashing, and it shows like Hansi, and then it shows Bear like choking Lou, and then it shows all of this stuff going on. She's talking about how just kept worrying that this bright future that I just envisioned would just all go away. I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, are they hinting that the first season may not happen based on what happens here? Like, is this some weird time travel stuff going on right now? Like, what is going on? This is twisty, man. It really got me thinking. I'm like, what exactly is happening here? Like, what exactly is going on? Because the writers of the show are pretty smart, and they wouldn't just throw this in here for no reason. So what's going on? Anyway, I couldn't forget that scene because that just got me thinking. Really got me thinking. But yeah, you see Lou taking Peggy back to Minnesota. I don't know why I just did that. They finally get to a payphone, calls the home. Noreen answers. They talk a bit about what happened. He tells her he's okay. Finds out that Betsy's okay. It's all okay. We're all okay. But also going on at the same time, you've got Mike Milligan. He shows up to the Gerhardt home. Walks in. Nobody's there except for the lady who works in the kitchen. She's just like sitting there, and I'm just like, wouldn't it be hysterical if this kitchen lady just like threw a knife and killed them both? Like that would be just I don't know why my mind went that way, but it did. But of course, that doesn't happen. I I don't even know why I just told you guys that. Like it was just my own thoughts. I was just like, I want to be hysterical. Like they're just sitting there, and they just walk in. This lady's cutting an orange. She's like, "You there? Who are you?" Like kills the guy and then dodges shotgun. Like fights him, takes a shotgun, kills it. That would be anyway. Going down the rabbit hole. Um, but yeah, he goes in and like pretty much declares that he is now king of this castle. And I really enjoy Mike Milligan. Like he's just got such a good personality to have on screen. So every time he's on there, I enjoy watching him and what he says and what he does. It's so like prim and proper, and he has this aura about him that really changes the mood of the scene. But then the curly hair guy, I forget his name, but he comes into the scene and starts like stealing stuff because he knows they're all dead somehow. Anyway, but Mark Milligan comes in and says, I'm king of this place, and he's just like, we don't have kings anymore. He's just like, well, we do. We just don't call them kings. And then he starts just going on a monologue and saying that everything that guy was stealing, like it belongs to the lady in the kitchen now. It's just like, oh, okay. So, and she's like, so that means you are, don't say it, just out of luck. I'm just like, okay, what is all this? And then he tries to like, pull the gun on him. Kitchen Brother's just like, bam, with a shotgun. And then like he goes flying across the room. And then a really bizarre scene as, the Kitchen Brother's just about to finish him off. And I didn't hear the line very clearly, but it sounded like Milligan said, no, that would be too cruel. Or it wouldn't be cruel. I don't know exactly. He said something about cruel. And I'm just like, the guy is bleeding out with a shotgun blast through his chest. This is sadistic and wrong. You guys are just watching him die. It was a really, really uncomfortable scene. I was just like, why am I watching this? Why are they watching this? What is going on? But it also speaks to kind of Mike Milligan's character, who he is, and the fact that he's just willing to let this guy bleed out with this practically not really a hole in his chest, but shotgun blast to the chest. It's pretty twisted. But yeah, like it just I kept waiting for something to happen, something intense to happen, but that moment never came. And at first I was like, do I like this? Is this something I enjoyed? Because I couldn't put my finger on it, but I really did enjoy this episode. Like, I enjoyed it as a season finale. It wasn't as intense. It didn't have me on the edge of my seat the whole time, but I still really liked it. And I think the reason is because this show is not just about the intensity. The beginning of the season, they have the first episode has that one scene where people die, and that sets up for everything. So the next few episodes are not that intense. Like they have moments where things might, people might find out about the dead guy, stuff might happen, but it never does. Like they keep building story, keep building story. This is what this episode felt like. It felt like building more story. Now, I know this has been confirmed for a third season. I'm fairly certain I heard that somewhere. So if it has, maybe the next season is like what happens in between now and the first season of Fargo, or maybe it's after the first season of Fargo, what happens then, and we had to find out this story so that what happens after that first season makes sense. That would be awesome. But yeah, so many things that they could do from here. Like, that just felt like they left so much open that it's enough for another season. They can make another really good season. They still have all these good characters. They could even put in, like, have some episodes set in the past and some set in the future. That would be incredible. But yeah, so many things that they could do. And I think that's what I enjoyed so much about it, is that they didn't wrap everything up. At the end of the first season, all we really had left were the good guys. Like all the bad guys were killed. Billy Bob Thornton's character, spoilers. I don't. If you have not seen the first season, and if for some reason you watched the second, spoilers. Um, Billy Bob Thornton's character gets killed. Mark Freeman's character gets killed. Most of the mafia or the crime syndicate out of Fargo or whatever, that Billy Bob Thornton's character just tears through them, so they all die. Um, so a lot of those characters that were so good that could have been used in future episodes don't make it, and so it's just like, well, yeah, now we. But in this season, we still got Lou, still got Betsy for now, still got Hank, still got Hansi, still got Mike Milligan, still got one of the Kitchen brothers, still got Peggy. So all these characters are still alive. They still got stories that are kind of left hanging. Hansi, you see him, he's got like, I'm guessing it was a burn, so I'm guessing it was hot water that Peggy threw in his face. And so he's meeting with this guy, and he's looking for somebody to like repair his face. It was kind of, I don't know, I guess he was talking to one of the people that were like business partners with the Gerhardts. I wasn't entirely sure who the guy was. Mike Milligan is in the Kansas City office, and the head guy is talking to him, and he pretty much just gets an office job as an accountant. And it was really, I couldn't really tell what he was thinking. Like, I couldn't tell if he wanted to just kill the guy and just be done with it, or if he was like actually thinking, okay, maybe this guy has a point, because the guy was pretty much telling him, look, your days are over. Like, lose the haircut, lose the Western look. This is not a time of you go get property and we reward you for it. This is a time of big business. And so it's very interesting to see him kind of have to, maybe he'll have to tone down that whole Western vibe that he enjoys so much. But still, it was kind of funny to see that. But at the same time, it was interesting to think, what's going to happen next? What's in store for him next? Peggy, obviously, there was a very good scene between her and Lou before her story ends, I guess. First of all, more hilarity. She asked to be tried federal, so maybe she can get to a California prison, and then she can get all this fancy stuff, and she's just living in fairy tale land. But Lou has this kind of nice moment with her where he tells her a story about this guy who, he was hovering a helicopter as people were like getting onto this ship after the Vietnam War that Lou was in. He was experiencing all this, and then the guy like he turned the helicopter on its side to jump out onto the boat, and he's like, I guess the point of this whole story is, I understand what you two were trying to do. I understand that you'll do anything for family. I liked seeing that. Like I like the fact that he admitted that to her, that he understood what was going on. But then the final scene with him is like Hank comes back home, and it's just him, Betsy, and Hank just all sitting, finally together again. And we finally learned that the mysterious scribbles were actually him trying to invent a singular language for everybody, because he's like, words get so confused and twisted. Think about how many wars and all this stuff that happened because of a lack of communication. We just had one. Think about if you see a box with a triangle, everybody knows that that's a house. My little daughter or my little granddaughter draws a heart. It means that she loves me. I understand that. Everybody understands that. So it's just like, so maybe he's not as crazy as we thought. Because I think that was like the worry, is that, well, maybe he's crazy. But it kind of confirms, okay, so he's not. So everything just kind of ends on a happy note. Lou and Betsy get into bed, and they're about to sleep. And I think the final line was like, all our ships are a sail or something like. I can't remember now. All our ships are sailing or something like that. And then it ends. And then I hear the music, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the music sounded like it was the same like orchestra music from the first season. Like whenever they opened, like this one always opened with kind of the same old kind of back in the 70s, that type of music, like the punk rock maybe, or the hip hop type stuff that Mike Milligan's character pretty much exemplified. But last season, every single time they opened with that, the Fargo, um, FX presents Fargo, they had like this really beautiful kind of ominous choir or orchestra music, and they ended with that here. So once again, really feeling like maybe this was all building up to show us what happened now, so that whatever happens in the future makes more sense. Like it kind of feels like this season was leading to something else. Even like from the very beginning, seeing Sioux Falls on the TV, or the Massacre of Sioux Falls on the TV in the movie or whatever, it felt like it was being seen from somebody's perspective. Like all of it. They had the one, they had the narrator in the last one talking about Hansi, what exactly are his motivations. It was being read from a book. This one starts off with Lou narrating the "this is the true story" part. It feels like it's leading to something, and so actually, this episode got me excited to see what they're gonna do next. I really, really, really hope we're not gonna have to wait as long for the third season as we did for this one, because I mean, the first and second season were what, a year and a half apart, maybe 2 years. I'm not entirely sure, but it was too long. When I heard the second season was coming out, I'm just like, I wanted to get here now. This season, all the build-up they did, and we had that intensity. The bloody part last episode. This one felt more like closing this story, but leading into another one. Leaving stuff open for a second story to be told, or for further stories to be told. It was brilliant. It really, really was. Now, I could be completely wrong about all this. I could just be hoping this goes somewhere, but I really, really doubt that the people who are the geniuses behind the show did this for nothing. Not because it I don't know. It's hard to imagine that they did this with no plan whatsoever, um, because it really wasn't the all-out intense season finale that I was expecting. It had the intense moments at the beginning, and then the second part just seemed dedicated to, all right, so here's how this story ends, but there's still some stuff left open. We'll see where it goes. And that's kind of, it feels like that's what it's hinting towards. So we'll see. We'll see. But I really did enjoy this episode. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I still enjoyed it, no matter that. And I think it really takes something special to do that, because you think about, I guess, what people expected for, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good example. I guess most movies, like the Star Wars movie right now. I think people have their expectations really, really, really high based on the trailer, or based on everything we've seen. But I think we have all these expectations, but even if we get a good movie, I think we'll still be happy, because it's not the prequels. And so I think that it's kind of the same thing here. Like I was expecting this really, really thing that, well, it's not even really the same, because I'm expecting one thing that's really, really good, and then I get another thing that is still as good, but not the same type of thing I was expecting, like, and I guess that's what, the main point I'm trying to make here is that a lot of people may be disappointed because it wasn't the action-packed, intense finale that we were all expecting. At least I was expecting. But we still got something really good. We still got a really good episode, just not as intense as we may have thought it was going to be. And that's why it was really enjoyable, and why I enjoyed it a lot. And I know I keep saying really a lot, but I really did. Really, 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 really enjoy it. So, since it's the finale, this is going to be a thing. I've only done one other finale, and that was Jessica Jones, because it was on Netflix. But I'm going to start doing like a wrap-up review for the finales, and just kind of do a quick recap of the season in general. I think this season did the impossible of besting the first season. The first season was really good. I had no idea what to expect. I hadn't seen the movie Fargo. I'd seen a couple previews that looked weird. I was like, what is this? Got into the first few episodes. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then it just took a turn, took another turn, took another turn, and ended so well. The characters were really enjoyable. The action was really enjoyable. And so I was just like, there's no way the second season can be better. We're going back in time. Completely new cast, completely new story. There's no way this could. Oh my gosh, it's just as amazing. Like, there was just no. There's no better way to explain it than it's better than the first season. And if you've seen the first season, you know that says it all. Like, this season was so incredible. The writing was done to perfection. The pacing was amazing. The fact that they only have 10 episodes and still captured this whole season so well, incredible. Um, I standout performances, obviously Patrick Wilson just nailed the part. You know, every single time he was staring down a barrel of a gun, he had this cool demeanor, like, I got the situation under control. Dude, you got 2 shotguns and a pistol pointed at you. It's okay. I got this, okay? I'm a Minnesotan. I know how to handle this situation. And so I just really enjoyed Lou's character. Like, he was just a calm badass. Best way to put it. Mike Milligan, I already talked about his character. Really enjoyed any time he was on. I gotta stop saying really. I'm gonna stop now. I always enjoyed when he was on screen. He just brought something. He brought this aura, like I said before, about him. He brought it to the screen. He brought it to the scene. It felt so much different. It felt so much more intense and yet enjoyable at the same time whenever he was there. Kirsten Dunst, like I said, I I completely believe she can act now. She killed this part of Peggy. She had the moments where she was a little ditzy and she doesn't really know what's going on, and then she had the moments where she demanded stuff. She changed. She had a great character arc from beginning to end. Even Ed did. It kind of started off as just like this guy who didn't want any trouble, but then trouble found him and he had to adapt to the situation, and he did it very well. I think also Ted Danson as Hank did very well, just to kind of be. He seemed like a bumbling cop, but at the same time, you knew he knew what was going on. It was like to everybody else, he seemed kind of slow, maybe not as all there as the other cops, but when the situation arose, you knew he knew what was going on. Sorry, text message. But yeah, just all these characters meshed very well. Like I said in the last review, the last season or the first season was very much everybody interacting with Martin Freeman's character. This season was much more everybody interacting with each other. Everybody had moments where they had to act off the other people, and they did that so well. Like, we got to see everybody interact with each other. I like that. I did enjoy the fact that we got to see that this season, and not just one character interacting with everybody, because that can be done pretty easily. But yeah, really great season. I really hope that they take this season somewhere else. Just it's my hope. We'll see what happens. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it just as much as I did. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of this season, what you thought of this episode in particular. Am I completely crazy thinking this was a great episode? Or am I right? This is a good episode, just not as intense as we thought it was going to be. Leave a like and subscribe if you're just as excited for Fargo Season 3 as I am. And check out, obviously since Fargo's done, check out my other reviews. See if there are any other shows that you watch as well. Because I watch a lot of shows. But yeah, hopefully see you guys at other reviews. Peace out.